So let's talk about a really common EB1A misconception that seems to mess up a lot of EB1A profiles. And it's this misconception that pursuing as many criteria as possible is what you want to do to build a strong profile. Now, if you can pursue high quality activities and as a result meet 6, 7 criteria, then by all means try to pursue 6 to 7 criteria. But out of the hundreds of profiles that I've seen so far, I think only one person, maybe two, should even be trying to pursue 6 to 7 criteria. The rest are just doing low quality activities. I mean, at least the ones who are trying to go for 6, 7 criteria. These people tend to be going for low quality activities, thinking that that actually helps with a strong EB1A profile. And in this video, we'll be covering what actually is a strong EB1A profile and why you shouldn't be pursuing 6, 7 criteria and instead should be focusing on 3 to 4 criteria, possibly 5. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason and I work with several top immigration lawyers, which is where my EB1A profile building insights come from. I also run a paid newsletter for $12 per month, through which you can get access to my newsletter resources, which includes a profile building opportunities database that currently lists over 400 opportunities categorized by field and criteria. You will also get access to my private group where members have been able to find co-authors for papers, have been able to find opportunities shared by other members, and have also been able to find collaborators in general for profile building. To get access to these resources, check out the link in the comments. But going back to the video, what is it that makes a strong EB1A profile? It's not meeting as many criteria as possible. It's actually about showing how you've risen to the top of your field and showing a strong argument backed up by high quality evidence. For example, showing that you have been recognized by top industry experts and that's why you were invited to speak at a top conference, or that's why you're invited to join a top member organization as an advisory board member, as a committee member. These are the kinds of activities you should be doing and should be showing as part of your argument. What you don't want to be showing is activities that anyone could do in your field, not just top experts, but just about anyone. Say joining a general organization, or the more common ones are doing the kinds of activities, doing the kinds of judging, doing the kinds of authorship that don't really show that you have the expertise that you claim you have. That kind of evidence, while it can help with meeting the plain language of the EB1A criteria and that it can help you check off the box for judging, check off the box for authorship, it won't necessarily help with final merits, which is actually what matters the most when it comes to EB1A, assuming you already meet 3 criteria. So what is it then you should be doing instead of trying to go for 6, 7 criteria? You should be trying to go for 3, 4 criteria and focusing on high quality evidence. Also, what I see a lot of when people try to go for 6, 7 criteria is that they look at low quality opportunities simply as a means to meet as many criteria as possible. Now, with this kind of approach, the most you could potentially do is, I guess, meet more criteria, more than 3, but that doesn't necessarily help with your profile, especially if you already meet the 3 criteria threshold and don't show more evidence that you've risen to the top of your field, which can help with final merits. But what could also happen is you could get questioned on that low quality evidence that you introduce. That then leads to questions around final merits. Because why would a top expert do a low quality activity, get involved in a low quality organization? Why would a top expert do anything like that? Is a potential line of reasoning you could be opening just by going to do low quality activities, thinking that by meeting more criteria, you are building a stronger profile. So this is what happens a lot when you try to go for 6, 7 criteria. You end up doing low quality activities that, while they may help you meet more criteria, may not necessarily help you strengthen your profile, because after you meet the 3 criteria threshold, after you have evidence for 3 strong criteria or 4 or 5, what matters is final merits. What matters is showing that you've risen to the top of your field, and you don't necessarily do that by meeting more of the criteria. You do that by presenting more evidence to show that you have risen to the top of your field, that you have that high level of expertise that you claim you have. And that could come through speaking, that could come through high quality membership opportunities. It is not going to come through low quality awards, or if you don't already meet authorship, low quality papers, thinking that by claiming authorship and showing low quality papers, you automatically strengthen your profile. That is not the case. You may meet one additional criterion, but you are still not doing much for final merits. So that is just a misconception to keep in mind, that meeting more EB1A criteria does not mean you are strengthening your EB1A profile.